Good evening, and welcome back to Golden Eagle Sports Report.
Tonight, we sit down with two women's lacrosse players in an exclusive interview.
And both lacrosse teams have their sights set on a Big East trophy. So get ready, Marquette Nation. Golden Eagle Sports Report starts right now.
Slam! Done! Oh, that's a poster.
Live from the Jeannie Hayes Virtual Studio at Marquette University, this is Golden Eagle Sports Report.
Marquette gets the rebound, and the champions have gone down.
And we start tonight with an exclusive interview.
Assistant sports multimedia journalists Adrian Fraga and Gabriel Cicerica are sitting down with women's lacrosse players Shea Garcia and Lydia Foust to discuss their historic season. Adrian and Gabriel.
Thank you so much, Sam. My name is Gabriel Cicerica, and alongside me is Adrian Fraga, and in front of me are women's lacrosse players Shea Garcia and Lydia Foust. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And right away, getting started, you two have spent the last 5 years building this program from basically the ground up. How does it feel being ranked for the first time in program history?
I don't think either of us could have expected it. We were not expecting to do what we did this year, and I think this has just been like capping off like our 5 years with this type of run. It's just something like we couldn't have wrote it any better.
Yeah, especially like when we were both recruited here at Marquette, like we were not at the top 25, probably top 30, 40. So I think that's the coolest thing ever, that we didn't know we would ever be in this position ever before. And like Lydia said, like our 5th year, like that's the coolest thing that ever could have happened to us probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, kind of going off of that, you all play an elite Denver team on Saturday for the Big East regular season title. Denver comes in as the 3rd-ranked team in the country. So what does the game mean to you, and what's the main focus going into this one?
Yeah, so it's our senior day on Saturday. We're not really focusing too much on Denver. I mean, we played Northwestern earlier this year, and they're ranked number 1 or number 2 in some polls, and we competed with them. So I think it shows that we can compete with the top 5, top 10 teams. So I think really just focusing on ourselves and just having fun and enjoying our game.
Yeah, it's the last game in the bubble, and we're just excited to play. We know we can score against these teams. We scored 14 against Northwestern. We know we can hold our own, and I think we're just really excited to go out there and prove it to everyone else.
So, like, how is it going to feel? One last game in front of the home crowd, though. How's that game going to be?
Exciting.
Yeah.
I'm just excited. I'm excited to be back. We had 2 away games in a row, and now we get to finish off this year at home. Like, you really couldn't have even asked for a better ending either. You're going up against Denver in your final game of the year at home.
Yeah, and the bubble's so electric in there, like with all our fans, our parents, and even our bench. Like, it's just so fun, and you enjoy every moment in it.
Absolutely. And then following the game against Denver, the team will be headed to Connecticut for the Big East tournament, and then hopefully a potential NCAA tournament run. For you two, going into this, how does it feel knowing that you can bring home some hardware?
I think hopefully we can actually do it. We want to prove it and actually bring it home. Like, we've had a great year, but I think our eyes are set on these next few games and actually putting it all together. It all comes down to like these last few games, and we know what we can do, and now it's just finishing it out.
Yeah, pretty much what Lydia said. She said it all.
And then now going straight to you, Shea. Coming into this season, everyone knew how talented you were. You were named to the All-Big East second team last season. Is there anything you focused on, to help kind of put your game to like the next level?
Not too much. I just knew like we had a chip on our shoulder coming into this season, losing to Georgetown in the semifinals last year. Just had a chip on my shoulder, and I mean, I have so many other teammates to lean on, like Lydia, and then so many other offensive players. That our offense is so good, draw is so good, goalies, defense. So like we're really able to lean on each other and push each other to be better.
Absolutely.
Well, Lydia, like Shea, coming into the season, you were also had pretty great expectations, being named to the Big East first team 2 years in a row. How have you been able to live up to those expectations, but like also surpass them?
Yeah, I don't think I think coming into the year, I really had no like goals. I had kind of done what I wanted to do here with, at least on a personal level, like of the goals I wanted to achieve. And I think this year was all about having fun, especially with like me and Shea, we worked together on offense, and like I just wanted to have fun. I didn't know like if how many goals I would score, if I would have more assists, like none of that really mattered to me. It was like I wanted to have fun with like the people that I'm closest to, and I think we've done that this year, and that's just like, that was the focus. And I think that led to like my success that I've been having, is almost turning the focus away from those individual goals and onto the team goals.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for you, Shea, looking back, you became the first player in program history to reach 200 career points. And Lydia, you're about to hit that mark too. What does it mean for you both to kind of set the standard for Marquette women's lacrosse, especially for, you know, the future?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping my teammates, Meg Byerly just hit 100 points, fastest player ever, Marquette women's lacrosse program to ever do. So I'm expecting her to honestly surpass me a year or two from now. So I think that'll be cool to see someone do it even faster than I did it, or Lydia did it. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of accolades, Shea, you scored 8 goals against Xavier earlier this month, and this broke the Marquette single game record, previously set by your teammate sitting right here. You know, what did that mean to you, and you know, what was working that game?
I don't even know. It was just, I just went out there and just wanted to have fun, and I think in games like that, we always look forward to getting some of our teammates who don't normally play, getting them on the field. So I think I just had fun and just wanted to play for my teammates and to get them out there, especially like Hannah Botner, who couldn't play. She tore ACL, so like every game, play for her and do what she can, sadly.
Yeah. Hey, did you feel some type of way after that?
No, I was like, I expect at some point for someone to even beat us. Like if you look at other teams' records, it's like sometimes players just have those types of games, and like she went, I think, 8 for 8 on shots or something like that. Like that's like, and she only played, like we didn't play that whole game. It's like I know someone in the future is gonna come out and surpass like probably 7, 8. They'll be up in the 10s. Like it's gonna happen. And so no, I was like, it was crazy that she was literally just every shot was going in. I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, here's one for the both of you. Give us your favorite moments of your career so far.
So, okay, I've been like thinking about this question a lot, and for me it's so hard because if you asked me this like a year or two ago, I would have said beating Georgetown at home, and like we've now done that twice in our careers, and we've now beat Georgetown more than we've ever lost to them, which is something that no other class can say. And that used to be like people's highlights on Marquette women's lacrosse was beating Georgetown. But now like we've been doing that, and we've been doing that like more regularly. So I'm now looking at like, I'm hoping this end of the year I have something to look back on and be like, that's the moment. Like this year has been amazing. This entire year has probably been a highlight, but like I want to have one moment, and I'm hoping it's still coming.
Yeah, up-arring that. But I would say we've had a lot of memories, but I would say I wasn't even able to play in this game, but this past year when we beat Georgetown, or the season, I was injured and I couldn't play, and it was just so fun to watch. And like we went down in the beginning of that game, and then we came back and we won, and I thought that was just so amazing to watch. And then also most of the East Coast like parents were able to go, and we had some Midwestern parents able to fly over, and just like the atmosphere just like took over Georgetown. It was literally the coolest thing I've probably ever lived.
It like felt like a home game for us. Like we had our parents shouting like we are Marquette, and like on the field to hear that playing like at a different school, it was like an rival school, unbelievable atmosphere.
It was so fun. Yeah, the most fun I've ever had.
That's amazing. And you two are talking about, you know, atmosphere and being a part of this program. After 5 seasons here, what will you take away most from this experience?
I think like the connections and like friendships I've made over the past 5 years. Like since we've been able to be here 5 years, obviously, we were able to like with older girls 5 years older than us and like keep going. Like it was so cool to be able to make those friendships, and like still like a lot of the alumni will come back and watch our games. Like the UConn game, we had a bunch of alumni that came back, and it was so fun having there and like doing something for the people older than us that maybe they didn't do the year before. So I think that was love.
Yeah, the people is always going to be, I think, the thing I take away the most is like you build so many connections here, and I think it's something so special about coming to Marquette, whether you're an athlete or not, is like the people you meet here. I think everyone will say they have someone that they will cherish for the rest of their lives.
Now switching gears, now for some rapid fire questions. What do your pregame rituals look like?
So mine's, I do eye black, and Duncan has to get it before going to breakfast, which is always bro-yo for breakfast, and then go and get the eye black on. That's only what I do.
Mine's similar. I get Starbucks. I get the same Starbucks drink every time. It's like $7, but that's okay. And then go to bro-yo or pregame breakfast. And then I just braid my hair. I don't really do anything crazy.
We have a lot of hair braiders, but
Yeah.
I'm not a hair person.
What's your drink?
Oh boy, it's it's an iced latte with 2 pumps of, I think it's brown sugar and 4 pumps of the vanilla, I think, with oat milk. I get a venti. It's a little extra.
Not so sure for someone that gets it every game, but who gets the aux in the locker room before every game?
Josie Crop.
Yeah.
What music?
We have some ones that like we play regularly. What we always end up on, our last songs are, there's this one of the national anthem that goes into like a remix and a beat drop. And that's the second to last song. And then our last song is Shots by LMFAO. Every game, you have to do it.
Good
Yeah.
vibes.
Yeah.
Favorite place to study on campus?
Mine's engineering hall. So I love engineering hall. That's where I go. She doesn't have
I
one.
usually just do it in my room.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I'm like that. I'm always in my room. So
Yeah.
Same here. Favorite place to eat on campus?
Eat on campus. Ooh, real
know,
chili. Real
I
chili.
knew that
That's
was coming.
mine. I've gone there like plenty of times. People make fun of me for going there on like a weekday.
Yeah.
a weekday.
Yeah.
Boy.
Weekday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't eat too much on campus. Maybe Solomon's. That's my dad's favorite place on campus. So.
Well, thank you both for your answers, but we're unfortunately out of time. Now back to Tim and Sam in the studio.
Adrian, Gabriel, thank you both. And like they said, Lydia said five seasons in the making to get to this point. Little bit of Starbucks power too from Shea as well. So they've finally cracked the top 25, and we'll have plenty more analysis coming up after this.
Plus, did the men survive in overtime? We'll discuss this and more after the break.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world? You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends. After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Welcome back to Golden Eagle Sports Report. Once again, I'm Timothy Lateau.
And I'm Sam Bond. The women's lacrosse team is emerging as the hottest team on campus.
And they get a special surprise on Monday morning. After weeks of receiving votes, Marquette finally cracks the top 25 for the first time in program history.
After beating Villanova and Butler this past week, the Golden Eagles now sit at number 24 in the country in the latest IWLCA Division I poll.
Marquette has one final test in the regular season, hosting the number 3 ranked Denver Pioneers for the Big East regular season title and top seed in the conference tournament. From going 8-10 last season to 15-1 this season, Meredith Black's squad comes full circle as they look to finish out the season perfect on the road against the Villanova Wildcats.
Graduate student attacker Caroline Colonel wastes no time for the Wildcats as she scores 47 seconds in to put Villanova on top early.
But senior attacker Lydia Foust finally gets Marquette on the board 5 minutes later to tie the game at 1.
Villanova sophomore attacker Sydney Pappas comes alive at the end of the first, scoring back-to-back goals to put the Wildcats up by 2 with 30 seconds left in the opening frame.
Sophomore attacker Meg Byerly sneaks one in with seconds winding down in the first to keep Marquette within striking distance.
The second quarter is all Marquette, as Foust and Garcia each score a pair of goals, and Marquette takes control at the half.
The Golden Eagles defense connects on all cylinders in the second quarter, only allowing one Villanova goal, and they go up 7-4 at the break.
Wildcat senior attacker Kara Morrow starts the scoring in the third quarter to climb back within 2.
But Marquette's dominant road presence continues, and the Golden Eagles go on cruise control for the rest of the game.
Byerly scores back-to-back goals in the fourth to help the Golden Eagles inch closer to victory.
Senior midfielder Emma Sacadato and first-year attacker Tess Osborne both get insurance goals down the stretch to give Marquette the road win 12-8. Marquette ends its road portion of the season with a perfect 8-0 record after going just 2-8 on the road last season. And after some incredible performances, 3 players take home Big East honors this week.
Lydia Foust continues to be dominant for Marquette and earns Big East Attacker of the Week after 2 strong games.
Foust brings home the honor after scoring 10 goals and adding 2 assists in 2 games for Marquette.
Senior defender Ellie Henry holds down the fort on the defensive end en route to earning Big East Defender of the Week.
Henry receives the award after getting 19 total draw controls, with 15 coming in the win against Butler, the second most all-time in a single game for Marquette.
Senior attacker Mary Schumar rounds out the awards for Marquette after earning a spot on the Big East honor roll.
Schumar is coming off a record-breaking week in which she had 17 assists and 3 goals in 2 games for the Golden Eagles.
Like the women, the men's lacrosse team hold their heads high, looking for a road win against Villanova.
The Villanova Wildcats start the game off with a commanding lead, scoring 3 consecutive goals.
The Golden Eagles begin to turn the tide as they score goal after goal, tying the game 4-4 at the end of the first quarter.
Sophomore attacker Bobby O'Grady spearheads these goals, putting the team on his back.
Heating up the second, Villanova comes out of the locker room scoring 2 straight points.
However, Marquette responds, scoring 5 of their 8 goals in the half.
Both teams begin to trade leads throughout the entirety of the second half.
But Marquette holds the Wildcats to only 1 goal in the fourth, which led the team into overtime.
In a hard-fought battle, Villanova crushes the men's hearts and gives Marquette its second straight overtime loss, 16-15.
Senior attacker Devin Cowan and sophomore attacker Bobby O'Grady combined for 4 goals.
Junior attacker Luke Blanc also picks up a hat trick of his own.
And as the new transfer portal format continues to dominate college basketball, the Marquette women's basketball team is definitely cashing in.
After adding veteran Fraddy Hottinger, Coach Duffy adds a younger player to the mix as Lee Volker announces on Wednesday that she will be joining the Golden Eagles next season.
The sophomore guard comes to Marquette having not played since January after leaving Duke for personal reasons.
Before stepping away, Volker was averaging 4 points and 3 rebounds in 12 games for the Blue Devils.
Volker has 2 years of eligibility remaining, and Marquette now has 4 open scholarship positions remaining for next season.
Coming up in professional sports, who's going first in the overall NFL draft? Plus, Jordan Love's season is officially a go. You can find out more right after this break.
Bring it.
Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys. You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
Stand is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to load their minds. Dare to explore. Dare to STEM. Learn more at She Can STEM.
And welcome back into Studio 7 as we discuss the upcoming NFL Draft, the NBA playoffs, and more. Joining me on the panel tonight is Adrian Fraga and Gabriel Cicerica. Let's get started. It finally happened. The Rodgers era in Green Bay is officially over as the Packers traded future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets in a blockbuster trade. Both franchises are ready for a new start as the Jets hope to break its 12-year playoff curse. In your eyes, Adrian, who won the trade?
It really is hard to say because at the end of the day, the trade was, I think, as fair as could possibly be, especially for how long the negotiating was. But I think if the Rodgers that we saw last year wasn't an outlier, if that was how he actually plays, if he really has lost his passion, I don't think he's lost his passion for the sport. Let me correct myself there. But I believe that if he doesn't give it his all, if he truly has lost his touch, he is getting up there in age, and they did give up a lot of value. And for that reason, if they lose between the 4-game series between the Dolphins and the Bills in that division, I don't know if that's a W for the Jets. It's a tough division. It makes the division absolutely brutal, easily the best division in football now. But it's going to be tough. The way I see this, if the Jets don't even make the playoffs and he plays a majority of the snaps, they give up a conditional second-round pick. And what that means is that if he plays 60% of the snaps for the Jets, they get a first-round pick instead of that second-round pick. So if they give up 2 first-round picks in the deal because of that, I think they lose if they don't make the playoffs.
Rodgers is a risk. That's what Adrian says. What do you think, Gabriel?
He is definitely a risk. I mean, getting up there in age, almost 40 years old. And we saw last year he had some downward trends going. We saw when he was playing well, we saw Christian Watson put in some good performances, the rookie wide receiver. And then, he didn't have a lot of help last season on the Packers. But moving forward, the Jets have some wide receivers that can really play. They have a good offense, and they have a fantastic defense. If the Jets can really win some games, make a playoff run, this is a win. I mean, we saw the graphic, 12 years since they made the playoffs. The Jets have been in poverty for a long time. And if Aaron Rodgers can actually come in and win some games for them, especially playoff ones, this is a win. But otherwise, definitely a win for the Packers. The deal needed to happen eventually.
It's just a matter of, are they really even the best team in that division? That division is so close. It could be on all 3 teams of the big teams in that division, of course, can make the playoffs. But at the same time, like, one of those teams might get left out.
Yeah, right now they're not. The Bills are better than the Jets right now.
I think so. One thing that we do know, Rodgers is with the Jets. We know he's got talent, even if he's on the decline. We don't know what the Jets are, or we don't know what the Packers are going to do with those draft picks, though. But speaking of the draft, it's officially draft time, and the Panthers will be on the clock this Thursday with the number 1 overall pick. But who will Carolina be taking? Gabriel, we'll start with you.
Hey man, the Carolina Panthers are in a great position. They made a good trade to trade up for the first overall pick, and they are obviously going to take a quarterback. There is no other scenario in which they don't take one, and if they do, it's ridiculous. It's between, for me, Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. I'm leaning towards Bryce Young. I like the size that C.J. Stroud brings, but I think Bryce Young is just a more complete quarterback, and I think he can pass the ball better. And I think that's what Carolina is going to focus on, and then, see what happens. But I like how complete Bryce Young is coming out of college. Here's a little curveball. I saw this morning, Will Levis, the quarterback out of Kentucky, went from being plus 4,000 odds in betting to plus 600 to be first overall. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's some rumors going around, so who knows? That's why draft is so much fun, but I think it's going to be Bryce Young.
You see, here's the way I see it. When the Panthers made up that move and traded up way back in March for the first overall pick, they had a clear guy in mind who they wanted. And at the time, who was getting all that hype? It was Anthony Richardson. That being said, Anthony Richardson was getting hype from the combine. And I could see either between, you said either Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. I see it either being Anthony Richardson or C.J. Stroud. Frank Reich is not a fan of small quarterbacks. Frank Reich I don't know if he's ever coached a small quarterback in his life. And I think C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson would be much better fits, and especially if the Panthers signed veteran quarterback Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton can take over the starting role for a majority of the season, have Anthony Richardson behind him. So I think it's a definitely interesting situation. But I think their guy will end up being C.J. Stroud. I think it's the safer pick, and I think that he's more of a scheme fit in that Panthers offense with Frank Reich.
Bryce Young, though, Heisman winner in 2021. Great numbers both in 21 and 22. I think it's tough to, you can't really overlook him too much. But moving on to basketball, Jimmy Butler has come off just an absolute career playoff game. 56 points in the win against the Milwaukee Bucks, putting them up 3-1 in the series. With this performance from Jimmy, will the Miami Heat actually upset the Milwaukee Bucks? Adrian, what do you think?
Jimmy Butler is him. I don't want to hear any slander. Otherwise, I don't want to hear anything else. Jimmy Butler has quite literally put the Miami Heat on his back. It's quite literally just Jimmy Butler. Tyler Hero obviously out with the broken hand. And, of course, other key players would be Bam Adebayo. But Bam Adebayo's had a very quiet series so far. He hasn't done much. The only people in that series that are making the impact is Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is he just had the arguably greatest playoff performance for a player in a Heat jersey. And that is saying a lot considering the historic amount of players that have played for that franchise. Shaquille O'Neal, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Chris Bosh. The list goes on. He arguably just had the best game between them. And right now he's playing like the best player in the playoffs. Not only that, he's shooting 36.5 points per game, 5.5 rebounds per game, averaging 5 assists per game. And he shot 68% against a team that was considered the favorite. He's the 8th seed, and he is completely doing the impossible. Everyone thought that the Bucks were going to be a lock for at least the Eastern Conference Finals, and now we're not even sure because now the odds are not in their favor whatsoever. The Heat can absolutely run away with this one.
What do you think, Gabriel?
This guy and Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, we can't just avoid that Giannis has not been there, and then he's not even playing fully healthy. Sure, Jimmy Butler scored 56 points, and it was a fantastic performance by all means. And his production in the playoffs is ridiculous. It's just every season he decides that he's going to start trying against NBA players, and he goes off. Now, the irony that Jimmy Butler, the Marquette alum, is beating up Milwaukee is pretty funny. And shout out to Bulls announcer Stacey King. Stacey King says Jimmy G buckets. G stands for gets, and he's absolutely right. 56 points. He's been fantastic. The Heat take this series. It's pretty impressive.
We'll see if the Heat can finish the job up. That's all the time we have. Thanks for the great discussion. Be sure to tune in next week for our final episode of Golden Eagle Sports Report of the school year. I'm Timothy Lateau. Good night, Marquette.